had been awakened early for the next morning. Looking at my phone, I found that the time read 3 in the morning. Rubbing my eyes, I had awakened to see a faint outline of a thin man at the foot of the bed. Arthur, is that you? I croaked out as I sat up.
Yes, indeed, dearest. I need you to wake up and get your cards. It is vital that you know what is to come.
I left the bed carefully so not to awaken Leslie and Ben. This is the first time I had ever been awakened by a ghost, and followed him to the dining table, claiming my deck that had been on the surface.
I am rather curious. Could you find out about these dangers on the horizon?
Not exactly, but I can find out what will happen for the day or how to take out an enemy.
It may prove to be very useful, my dear, as I do not have much of an oracle skill such as yourself.
It is not entirely glamorous. There are times where I have to give bad news, and people act like I had chosen the cards to deliberately make them mad.
Within a more positive view, my dear, it is better that you had warned them.
You have a point, and it would have been worse if I lied and told them what they wanted to hear, right?
Sadly, you are correct within that manner, and I suppose every skill has its burdens to endure.
Sitting at the table, I began to shuffle and did the spread of what is to happen for the day. Oh, this is pretty good, but challenging saying so, yet blushing to see the 2 of Cups, and added, "The morning is accurate so far about romance."
It appears as so.
He said playfully, putting my hair behind an ear as he sat beside me. The afternoon is the hermit. I take it that I'll be learning more new things by then and finding out answers. And the evening is the Knight of Swords. That is where the real conflicts begin.
There appears to be a lion being tamed, torches, and the moon. Would you care to translate those images for me?
Oh, those are themes that are being encountered throughout the day. And the 6 of Wands point to victory, and the lion is the strength card that points to having a spiritual mental strength. As for the moon, it tells to face fears and not to be disillusioned.
Well, I suppose that seems to be a legitimate theme for this Hallows Eve. Show me how to take down Agnes.
I shuffled again and said, "This one is called the Spider. It shows you as the spider, and the fly is Agnes."
That sounds rather delightful.
The cards were spread out, and the messages were not what I expected. I began. Okay, the 4 of Swords shows that I am in a state of recovery, and that the 8 of Wands shows that Agnes had been very active, adventurous, and chatty. She is making me face turmoil and deep pain by the 10 of Swords, and the 7 of Cups is trying to make me believe her delusions.
I suppose that sounds correct so far. She was always very spiteful and manipulative. I recall her holding grudges over the most pettiest of reasons.
The 6 of Cups say that she has a weakness for childhood things and wants to stay nostalgic. We have the upper hand by telling her about one-sided relationships and that to switch the roles to make her feel dominated. The Ace of Cups also say that she will be a crybaby, and that is the perfect moment to destroy her. Concluding the reading.
Oh, this seems to be without a doubt diabolically clever. I had known you were a little afraid of me, too, as you should not fear me. However, may I perhaps be blunt?
Sure, what do you have to say?
Your bosom is indeed larger than your foremothers, and they can be a distraction for perverts. But they do look rather intriguing, and I would not mind to be intimate with you in the future.
He said with a soft smile, stroking my cheek. My eyes widened and felt like my body had been set ablaze. Arthur chuckled and said,
Oh, my dear, being bashful, aren't you? It is so very endearing.
I'm just not used to it, I said with a sheepish grin.
Those men who have ignored you are simply intimidated by your beauty. Do not let it stifle your confidence.
You do have a point. Then again, I can't be a scary bitch when I have to be.
And it is very annoying, my dear. But you have to get your extra rest, darling.
He said and kissed my forehead. Okay. Sweet dreams, my spectre, I said softly and returned to bed. A ghost wanting to make love to me. I still had to process that part as reality and being flustered out of my mind. Hours later, we awoke in the morning and I told them about my meeting with Arthur as well as the readings.
Yeah, this sort of thing is sort of weird, but this ghost is really into you. It's like a dream vampire from some romance novel or something, thoughts.
Are you jealous?
Maybe a little bit. I sorta want something like that. I sort of feel that way to you a bit less. Wait a minute. Use what? It's just... it's hard to explain.
I think he has a crush on you, I said and chuckled. Leslie squealed happily while hopping in place and said,
That part is true. Use them on Night in Cups.
Ben gave me a hard glare, then turned to Leslie and said,
Fucking... yeah. It's true. I was just too shy to say it out loud, okay? It's alright. Let's go have fun on a Halloween date.
The next few hours were spent speaking of our plans and handling Agnes and scavenger hunt while eating breakfast. We listened to Halloween music while bathing and changing into our costumes. Leslie did our hair to suit the themes and insisted on doing my makeup. We used elaborate looks from our ordinary cosmetic supplies. I have to admit that it is far more comfortable than cream face paint, and it is longer lasting and staying power. My white hoodie seemed to keep me warm and not ruin my ghost aesthetic. For Ben, we had him wear glowing accessories so he could be seen by traffic and not be hit by a car. Ben and I used a Zippo lighter and pliers to bend the coat hanger wire and create a decent frame for Leslie's wings. Fortunately, we had glitter pens to add flair to pink nylons that enveloped the frame. Safety pins were useful in attaching the wings to his top. Most would look down on our low-budgeted costumes, but having money reserved for food and gas limited our shopping expenses. When we were done in preparing our costumes, Ben said,
Alright. So I guess it's about time that we found your grandpa's house.
Okay, he needs the company anyway, I said, getting into the driver's seat and heading out on the road again. On our journey, we sang along to the song called Monster Mash by Bobby Boris Pickett from the radio. I managed to call my grandpa on the phone and put the conversation on speaker mode. It seemed better to announce our arrival in advance.
Hey, sunshine. Are you almost here?
Yes, we're about 40 miles away from town. We have a lot to tell you so far, I replied. We told him about Arthur and I's current relationship. Myself being the reincarnation of my ancestor, the latter parts of the mission, and how Ben and I are demi-humans, to which he gave this response.
Well, this gets better and better, doesn't it? I'm going to help you out with this little scavenger hunt thing. I did not tell you the full truth earlier. I'm a demi-human myself. An angel, specifically. Our family is special since we were chosen to protect humans on Earth. I'm glad you learned your soul heritage, kiddo. Sooner rather than later.
I wish I could have been told the truth earlier.
Hey, I was only doing it to be protectful, and I knew that you were always skeptical, and you... Well, being the curious kid you are, you had found it out on your own. Hey, no, don't start with that. Family should not fight. You could apologize to her. What do you mean? Come on. I know I went through some shit before coming here. You know?
Yes, and it frustrated and scared me.
Alright, okay. No need to start with the fighting. I am sorry you went through some danger, okay? At least you handled it just fine, right?
That is not the point. You've always told me to take responsibility for my actions, and you need to do the same.
He's got used by the throat, Silver Fox. You better soften her up. Alright, fine. I'll make it up to you all by the other Halloweens I missed before. I wish I could see you in your other costumes.
You'll see my costume and my friend's costume soon when we arrive.
Alright. I'll text you the address and wear something vintage. There's going to be a carnival later tonight. You might find some clues there, hopefully. And maybe have a good time.
Sounds like fun, Grandpa. I cannot wait to see you there.
Likewise, sunshine. I have to protect my grandkids, don't I? Oh, it's a cute family moment.
With the help of GPS and our navigational skills, Dewey finally arrived to his house. It was a manufactured mobile home within a trailer park. Such a decent community filled with other houses and trailers.
Yeah, it seems to be good. Not what I expected from trailer trash.
Leslie commented while looking out the windows. Not everything has to be a stereotype. I said while chuckling.
It's like how some people are actually walking ones.
Ben teased. Leslie placed Ben into a headlock and began to give his scalp the noogies. You two settle down or no candy, I shouted.
And thoughts.
They said in unison, separating with their backs to each other and crossing arms.
Jeez, you was really on like your old man.
I could be meaner and leave you behind here.
Don't you was fucking dare.
Just kidding. I said, giggling savagely, and arrived at my grandfather's driveway. He came to greet us outside, wearing his 1940s private eye detective outfit, complete with a fedora, light brown trench coat, slacks, dress shoes, a white shirt, and suspenders. Grandpa, you look amazing! I shouted from the driver's side window.
Come down and let me see what you got.
He called out to me. I jumped down from the tall seat and stepped upon the concrete.
Oh, are you a ghost?
Yes, take a look at my friends, I said. He glanced to them and introduced himself.
Sylvester Stein. Nice to meet you too.
Sylvester patted my shoulder and said,
I could teach you some more tricks.
He paused to face Ben and said,
And thanks for giving her a warm-up for me. You're welcome, sir.
Every Halloween concept seemed to have come to life for us so far. Ghosts, witches, blood, tricks, surprises and disguises, and a wish has been granted, which was to have a fun family moment with my grandfather and feel like an innocent child again, even if it is just for a night that I will never forget. Nothing has to be an ordinary mundane routine on a daily basis. Then again, what is normal anymore? But I will be prepared to handle what is in store for Halloween night. We had a nice lunch that consisted of grilled cheese and scrambled eggs inside of his little home. The walls were bright yellow, covered in vintage velvet paintings. A brown couch covered in old-fashioned woven blanket. Grandpa still kept his records, 8-tracks, and other retro items. At least he had been more welcoming to a cell phone and downloading things from the internet, but the tricks he taught me were difficult, yet I had some mystical fun from it. I learned to manipulate sound by muting a person, amplifying volume, and deafening a sound so no one could hear a secret being said. My telekinesis had been fun to try by having Leslie allow me to levitate him into the air by concentration. He seemed to enjoy the moment with happy squeals. Grandpa also warned me that on certain days of the year that my angelic aura would be seen by psychics. As dusk was approaching, we finally began to see a more clear yet gray image of Arthur in the dining room.
Guess it's nice to see Arthur again. You really like my granddaughter, don't you? Oh, I adore her deeply, good sir. And I see that she hasn't inherited the family spunk. I can be a bit, understanding here. That it is awful that you did not get to have kids with the original Lenore. Yes, that is very true, and I want to have revenge upon Agnes for killing me and binding my soul to that curse. Oh, it's technically not incest?
I released a sigh of relief.
No, it is not, my effeminate fellow. I like how you two get along well together. Benjamin needs more confident and social interactions. It is rather endearing to see the three of you travel together.
Arthur said with a smile, then faced my grandpa.
Your grandchild has oracle talent. Her predictions are always spot on. Her paternal aunts have that ability too. Oh, this is quite intriguing. Do you have the ability as well? Well, no. It seems that only the women of the family can do that. Oh, that is such a pity. You're not a grandmother instead. Even if I did, I would predict on me banishing your ass.
Hey, break it up! Let's stick to our mission, okay? I shouted sternly. They both looked to me, nodded, then glared at each other. I had to admit that it was funny to see two older men fight like children. So the 5 of us traveled on foot towards the carnival. It was not far from the trailer park, as it had been 2 blocks away, and the fairgrounds had been at the edge of town. Walking through the rural neighborhood on a dirt road during the twilight hours gave a pleasant yet spooky atmosphere.
So, what song are you going to sing to break this curse, Lenore?
I have not thought of one yet.
You should sing a love song.
I glanced at Arthur, who had been ahead of us, blushed, and said, should I?
Love is a powerful source from the movies, right?
Yes, but I would be shy to sing in front of him.
I have heard you sing dozens of times before, my dear. You have nothing to be ashamed of, little siren.
It's different this time. Well, if I have nothing to be afraid of, then I will sing a love song. I could do it to make Agnes salty.
One time I ended up hearing you sing Fly Me to the Moon. You do it better than Frank Sinatra.
But that was for comedy.
Yeah, it still sounds nicer. I never heard you sing before. Let me hear a few bars then.
Grandpa insisted. I stopped in my tracks and began to sing the song for them. Arthur, Leslie, and Ben clapped. Grandpa was stunned with his mouth hung open and shouted,
That is some damn good singing, girl. You should be on the talent show on the TV.
My face became hot, and I hid it under the hood.
She is always bashful and ever coy.